Here we have FilterShop's upgraded fridge filter kit. It basically consists of our standard generic external fridge filter, which is available both through our store and on takealot.com. But then with an extra filter, and this extra purple filter here is an ultrafiltration membrane. Now, ultrafiltration is a membrane process like reverse osmosis and nanofiltration, but it doesn't physically waste any water, but it's still fine enough to block any bacteria. So what this does is a standard fridge filter, normally the reason why you throw it away is after 6 months it's got quite a bit of bacteria. But adding a ultrafiltration membrane onto it actually gives it the ability similar to something like the under-the-counter systems. Now, where this is a great thing to use is if you have any water without a very high chlorine content. So if you don't physically smell the chlorine on the taps, we would definitely rather recommend going for this setup than just for the generic fridge filter, because that in most cases mean there's quite a good chance that you have some bacteria in the water. The actual kit here comes with all the piping between the two filters already connected, brackets for between the two filters. This one is the standard diameter which would fit most LG and Samsung fridges if you already have the brackets installed. There's a second bracket that fits onto the large one that comes in the kit as well. So if you've just been lying it down on the floor, you have the option to mount it with this bracket, or if you have an existing bracket you can just mount the whole setup to the existing bracket. We've configured it in a way so you shouldn't need any extra pipe. It's just the in at the fridge filter side and then out at the ultrafiltration membrane side. If we have a look at the physical fittings here, you will see it. We're using the quick coupling fittings on here. Now, the way you connect and disconnect them is there's a little blue clip which you remove out of the way, and then you simply take your pipe. If you push it in lightly, you'll see it connects immediately, but there's actually a O-ring inside that it needs to go past. So keep a little bit of pressure on it, then it slides in a bit more, like it did there. And you pull it out, put the blue clip back in place. Now, the blue clip is just to prevent it from accidentally releasing, because how you replace it when it comes time to replace is you've actually just take this blue clip back out of the way, push down on the fitting, and then the pipe pulls back out. So nice and simple, simple DIY thing to change the fridge filters. The normal generic one works in a similar way, but then if you're looking to go for this, I really would recommend it. Something to keep in mind though, this ultrafiltration membrane comes in preservatives, so you actually need to flush the membrane for quite a while. So normally what we recommend doing is you hook it up to the fridge filter side, the carbon filter side, and then actually just let it run into a bucket. You'll see the water will have sort of a little oily film on top of it, and that film has a very bitter taste. And you need to just flush this until that bitter taste disappears. Unfortunately, this can be about 10-15 minutes of flushing, so it is a little bit of annoyance, but once you've done that, you've got the extra peace of mind of knowing you don't have any bacteria in the water going into the fridge, and it's a very nice and compact setup. You shouldn't need to really make a lot of additional space for it. And lifespan on it can depend a little bit on a few factors. If your chlorine load isn't too high and the carbon will last a year, then a year is a good bet. On average, we found in most situations this tends to last people a year, which doesn't make it much more expensive than just replacing the normal carbon filter twice. In areas of heavy chlorine, however, you do find that the carbon filter gets depleted. If you start getting a chlorine taste or smell from the fridge, it means the carbon filter component has been depleted, and then you can decide either to just replace the carbon filter or replace the whole set. Something that can also happen to this, as the normal carbon filters for fridges only have a slight particle filter effect, they normally don't get clogged. this ultrafiltration membrane, because it's a physical barrier blocking bacteria from getting to the fridge, if you have a lot of dirt coming through the water, or if they have been working on the pipes, you do run the risk of it actually getting clogged up, and unfortunately it's not very easy to get it cleaned then. You can backwash it a little bit. You can attempt it to reverse the flow on it and then run it back to normally, but you normally don't recover nearly the whole capacity of the system. So it works a bit, but for most people, if you want to keep it simple, you simply replace this component. But from FilterShop side, we highly recommend this to anyone in South Africa using fridges. If you're using a fridge setup and you're using it on non-municipal water or in the smaller municipalities, this is really a must, because the normal carbon filter always runs the risk of getting bacteria growing in it, and then you actually have a higher bacteria load going into the fridge than you would have had without using the filter. But I hope this video has been informative, and I'm almost sure that I can almost guarantee that you'll be very happy if you decide to go for this product. It really is a very nice upgrade to your fridge.